here if it's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's LinkedIn Live, Hour of Empower. We're here 7 days a week, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't have to think, and we're here for you. And that's the reason we do the show, is because of what we believe is a lot of value in people coming together with like-minded purpose and respect and thoughtfulness and kindness for everybody here. With that said, the key word today is learning. I know that means a lot to a lot of people in a lot of different ways, how you apply it. And the chat's open, so we welcome comments to help us be directed as to our thoughts and what we could directly make relevant for you, and hopefully get a bunch of good quality takeaways that you can apply. With that said, I'm so honored to have Nicole with us. She's just a wonderful person, but has a great story too. And I'm so happy to be able to share it. I know we've got Jody Lamb here, who's just a wonderful lady, and I follow her and tag her. Am I the first to comment? You certainly do, and I'm so happy you were there first. So Susanna, who I've had a great conversation and shows up here and supports the show. Obviously knows Nicole also. So happy to have you here. Mike is here, and Mike's going to be on the show this week. So can't wait to see Mike. I just love building with groups and within groups, because the more people can circulate, right? Almost everybody in Mike's group, my group, has already been vetted by themselves, right? They're quality people and quality groups, and everybody should experience the opportunities when they present themselves. And until you get a flavor and an assortment of different shows, do you really know what you like? And hopefully everybody gets their own show. Susanna concedes that Jody was first. Jody comes back with so good to see you doing amazing things and inspiring so many people. Well, you get a second introduction today, Nicole, through the audience. Me too, Mike. I really think Mike has just a terrific persona, and approach to what we're doing. And LinkedIn really, really supports and promotes sincere, authentic people like Mike. Dennis is here. Dennis is always rhyming. Happy to be here to hear you and watch you. Charles from Hong Kong is here. Thank you so much, Charles. Charles is a regular. Gosh. Hello, respected all. Ice told me I could call her Ice. She's here every day. We've got Dean, who's just a wonderful guy every day. Kelly has been the wherever Kelly. These things are moving away from me. Good morning, y'all. Thank you, Kelly, for being here. Kelly's here even when she isn't here, just from all of the impact she's made on the show, which continues to personify itself. So I'll give comments a rest, or we'll never get to hear from you, Nicole. So why don't you introduce yourself? Tell everybody about what you're into and ultimately how it ties in with learning. Nicole?
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me, Donald. I appreciate it. And we could go on and on with calling everyone out. The show is here. We're here because of you guys that show up every day and, make this happen. So thank you so much. My name is Nicole Angay Galindo. I hope people get to know me as Nick. That's what I'm called by my family and friends. And I'm just me. I work for an elevator company, Bohemia, Long Island, New York. And I got on LinkedIn last year, just like everyone else, I guess, for different reasons, whether you're looking for a job or you're just out to make some connections. And that journey just turned into so very much more for me. Those connections ended up becoming very genuine friendships and people that have really raised me up. And at the end of last year, I had a very unfortunate accident where I fell in work and broke my knee in 4 places. And spent maybe about 6 weeks not mobile. And in that time, I was given the time to find my voice. and to really be with myself. And out of that sprung all my writing and attending shows such as this. This is my Saturday and Sunday medicine at 11 o'clock. I have to get on here. I have to listen to Donald and his guests, and especially all the people in the comments, because you realize there's so many people out there that are traveling your journey, who have traveled, who will travel it. And, just when you think you know everything there is to know about a topic, here comes along somebody and drops 10 more things on you. You're like, holy crap, I didn't know that. So that's why, I'm really glad to be here for this one that's learning. And that's not, something like overcoming adversity and different things like that, because, those topics are out there quite a bit. But learning is a topic that, I don't hear about a lot, at least not in terms of, unless you're thinking about it as college or, a degree. But there's so much really just to learn around you every day in a conversation, and is something that you glimpse happening in a situation, something that you just maybe overhear. So I'm thrilled. I'm really thrilled for the chance to be here and to share my voice.
Well, you have a beautiful voice and a great story. And I know prior to going live, you were mentioning how you're living your dream right now. You got a best-selling book, even to um, Mike's comment, which we addressed prior to going. You've been tired doing 3 shows in 3 days, like working like crazy. and I guess it shows that when you're doing things you love with people you care about, it makes hard things easier. So what's your thoughts on your book and the success you're having, and on keeping as busy as you are?
Um, well, after I broke my knee, um, actually the day before I went out for major surgery, I launched a post called Talk Through Thursdays. And I did it kind of selfishly, because I thought, what am I going to do it myself for all this time? I'm going to be home. And I thought, well, I have my community on LinkedIn. This is a great time for me to really just be invested. And that turned into so much more. Like I said, come out and share your win, big or small, if you just need a little encouragement to get power through to the weekend. Um, and like I would always kick it off, even though they say don't be the first to comment on your post, whatever that means, who cares? But other people, would come on and talk. And then from there, other people that I didn't know, and people seem so happy just to share um, a little something that happened good, something huge. Oh, I'm having a crappy day. I need, I need some encouragement the next day. And it was really meant to be a safe space for me, which turned out to be a safe space for so very many. And that propelled me to meet so many people, and brought me along to meeting Mike and the Hounds. And, you know, joining that community just changed the trajectory of everything that was happening. Through them, I met so many amazing people. And one of them being Lachelle Atkins, supermom with 15 kids. I have no idea how she does it. And I got on her show on Valentine's Day. She invited me on the night before, and it was only my second live, and I'm crazy. And I said yes. So I went on. And at the end, I met Misty Lee Ryson, the publisher. And she was just about wrapping up an anthology called Now What? And basically, it was overcoming something adverse in your life, and now you're at this pivotal point. What's next?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sitting there just thinking, what on earth is happening in my life? I'm on this live show. I want to pinch myself under the screen so nobody could see me, because I'm like, she's asking me to write in her book, really? And I said yes. I had a week to hand that draft in. I was freaking out, but I did it. I think we had one session of edits, which was great. And from Valentine's Day to February 23rd, we ended up international #1 best-selling authors. So, it is so possible. It is so possible. Not just being an author, not just getting on a live show, not even just being on an audio. You know, it is so possible for you to get onto a platform like this and connect even with just one person. And you and that person just take it to a whole nother level. You change each other's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're one, and that could touch two, and those two could touch four, and so it goes. That's the ripple, right? That
Mm-hmm.
turns into that growth wave, that turns into that tsunami.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we do it. You know, you take your light and you light someone else's candle, and that person lights the next one. And before you know it, the entire world is standing there with a candle. And we're all just one big light of humanity. And, you know, just come out there and tell your story. Be unforgivably you. Always remember to be kind. Always remember to lead with trust. And know that everybody deserves to be heard. So, as much as I like to talk, sometimes I need to shut up and listen too. So,
Well, you know, it all depends on what you're saying and what people are hearing. And I think that's the key to learning is there's different ways to learn. People learn in different ways. People learn at different times.
mhm,
People learn things and don't really digest them and apply them for a while. So everything, I think, to your point, is circulation, moving things from you to other people and back to you. And
mhm,
I think the opportunity for a better world is peer-to-peer support. The person next to you with the person next to them, talking, helping, because you have access right now. If you wait for a government or an institution to serve you,
mhm,
it's not going to happen because it isn't happening because there's too much that needs to be done right now. Not if you're have a problem today, a month from now, seeing somebody who doesn't know and care about you that much is as much as being with family who's there every minute with you if you invite them in. But also, how do you become the best family member yourself? You know, I look at it like a picnic. Everybody brings something to the party every day, and everybody knows what everybody brought. Did they bring the cheap potato salad, you know, or did they bring the really nice chocolate cake, right? And every day someone brings what they bring, and hopefully by modeling for others and sharing with others, they get to learn that, hey, this is what's the best thing to do for them and the people around them. So if you create win-win-win instead of competition or criticism or judgment, you know, those will never build long-term, deep, rich relationships,
mhm,
you know? And how do you build happiness without relationships? So let me recognize some people. You know, Paul is here. Paul's always here. Like I say, I don't know what Paul does because every show I go to, even last night, we were at Travis's show and he was there. So, you know, and Paul's just great. He'd made so many introductions. He's always helping people. So, you know, I think, you know, like we mentioned, Mike, Saya's here and she's great. And, you know, what's so nice is people share their insights with others. And then people get recognized. And this format gets so much exposure. We'll have 200 comments before this is over,
mhm.
you know, and it just starts playing again. Kelly's here. So true, Nicole. Mike knows Paul, I'm sure. Uh, Opening our learnings to new schemes always helps. Uh, Dean says, how many here have been touched by? Wow, great. Cindy's here.
The world.
Cindy's the book sounds wonderful and you should check it out. You know, we should support each other. I mean, that's why everyone's success is everybody's success, right? Because we rise together, but by getting behind people and creating a tailwind for them instead of a headwind that usually is the result. Charles is great. Candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. light people up. I mean, Charles has to stay
I
up to
love that, Joe.
11 p.m. Hong Kong time to participate in the show all the time and be a co-host. And what does that say? There are good things people will take the time to do and participate in if you put something out there that's worth it. Um, what a great surprise on yeah, Club Link. Wasn't that the most? Yeah, I've known Travis for quite a while and actually done a LinkedIn Live with him. So great guy, and he's actually in Colorado. So yeah, it was fun. It's different, uh, high energy for sure. Um, Learning helps us to see deeper ideologies in life. Uh, Harvey's here. Harvey was here yesterday. Great guy. Wonderful story, and more importantly, wonderful storyteller. And I think that's Nicole's benefit is not only to have a story, but to communicate it. Could you share a little bit more?
Yes, I saw that question actually, and I was just waiting for an opening to jump in there. Cynthia reached out to me. Um, I wasn't a writer 2 months ago, and I am now. So there is coaching that can go into it when you are very passionate about it, as I am. You know, it's black and white. You get your words down, and trust me, the flow will come, and you will feel it, and you will know the minute that you put something there that just didn't sit right. And that's why you have copy editing, and that's why you have coaches. So I would love to connect with you. If I could give everybody the opportunity that I was given, I wouldn't blink twice. So definitely reach out. I will definitely help you and definitely connect you with people that can give you even more help than I possibly could. So
Yeah, and Kelly makes a good point. Share the link to your book in the comments. So, that'll give everybody an opportunity to see the book and, hopefully read the book, because of the value. And now you have something to align with the person, right?
mhm,
Who wrote the book, because now you know the person and you know more about the person, which makes it so much more enjoyable. Uh,
right.
Mike says, we do say that all the time. Boy, these comments never stop. And that's good. That's good. My isms are spreading. Poor folks are learning quotes incorrectly, so I know that is my stamp. Uh, Funny, huh?
I'm laughing. All ships rise with the tide, Sia. I poor Sia and Harvey here. I just want to say, if you have a talent and you want to do something, paint. Hey, listen, it's whatever it is to you. Johanna Rennie is one of my dearest friends in the house. She is a beautiful pastel painter. And however you get that passion and creativity out of you, just get it out, find a way, because somebody is going to relate. And isn't that what it's all about? That
Yeah, and you got to start somewhere, and you might as well start with who you are, where you are, and what you are, and then build on it. That's the clay. That's not the finished product. So allow yourself to be flexible, to be impacted by others, and allow others to help you, because there's so many good people here who go out of their way to help so many just
right,
for the gratification of seeing someone get helped. It's not like, when am I going to get taken care of here? Or when's it going to come back to me? It comes back to you, because once you start building that fire in other people, right? Once they get stronger, now they're in a better position to do for others, right? And I think that's the key. And everything we're doing spreads so fast. Omar's here. Omar's a great guy. And people are following their dreams. And I think we talked about it prior to the show. A lot of people used to dream and gave up on their dream,
hmm
and they
hmm
can realize they can dream again. What's your thoughts towards that, Nicole?
just you may feel that you don't know what your dream is, and that's okay. Just you get up every day and do what feels good, and not just makes you feel good, but makes the people around you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna realize that in just doing that, I don't want to say the universe is gonna speak to you, God, your heart, but something is going to speak to you, and you're going to find your purpose. You will find it. And what I ask you is when you find it, to not ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
Find a way to do something with it. And if you're not sure how, ask someone.
Mm-hmm.
There, like Donald says, everybody's out here to help. And I just wanted to backtrack a little because I did want to piggyback off of something that you said before I lose the thought. You had said, family and community, and if you have a picnic, everybody comes, everybody's bringing a dish. Who brings, this scrumptious chocolate cake? Who might just, bring a salad? And I guess to that one, I want to say is, recognize that everybody's not going to be able to bring the same amount to the table. And maybe somebody else out there could bring 10 times more to the table than I can. It doesn't make what you have to bring to the table any less important.
Mm-hmm.
So never feel that your voice is too small as compared to someone else's. That's not how it works. There is a whole, and a whole is made up of parts. There is an ocean, and every single drop of water in it makes up that ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say that because I was there when I would see these people with 100,000 followers and 500 comments. And what's my two reactions on one comment? It didn't matter. What matters is that you use your voice to give the message of what you believe in. And people that believe in it will find you and they will come along and join you.
Mm-hmm.
So just remember, no matter how big or small you think you have something to share, it is worth sharing.
Yeah, that's such a great point, Nicole, you bring up. And one thing to complement that, it truly isn't what you bring, but how you bring it, right? If you bring it with a good heart and with generosity, it could be something that is very ordinary that gets extraordinary based on how it's given. And you could give somebody a bag of gold in the wrong way and it'll never be appreciated. So it's what you add to what you give and how you add it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's why respect, gratitude, uh, uh, love is so rare these days and so necessary. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why by building safe places with pre-vetted people who are focused on getting better themselves, right? Because once you get a taste of something and it really tastes good, you want a bigger taste, you know? And if you know that it's only going to be produced by everybody coming together as a team
Mm-hmm.
and to feed enough people, right? And fortifying, because as everybody in the group gets smarter, the group gets smarter, right?
Yes.
As everybody in the group gets more successful, all of a sudden they're a role model for someone coming up. And the idea is to continue to grow. That's why I'm always looking at this show as a runway, not a destination.
Mm-hmm.
People come
Mm-hmm.
on, get seen, get known, learn how to do a LinkedIn Live by themselves. And all of a sudden, they're the master of their ship, right? They're the chooser now, not the one waiting to get chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, they feel power they never knew they had, but they always had inside, you know? And, one thing I want to mention, Kelly and Christy started a show, The Awesome Journey. And that's something to be looked at. It's almost like where are the clubs in town where everybody's going and everybody's having a good time, and then people are getting successful on top of it, so it adds the social to what I could do. And what's so cool, when you come into something thinking here's what you want to do, after a while when you're in it long enough, you say, I didn't know I had these other options,
Yes.
right? And all of a sudden your vision and your plans get bigger and greater and your future looks brighter, right? It's always the fear of what's to come that bothers people. But if it's also the hope is what's about to come. And not only that, having a family that comes with you on the journey, right? A lot of times to be successful, you got to leave people, you got to leave places. When everybody's around the world and everybody's connected like this, everybody just has to come to this, not leave this. And that's what makes it so easy to get better. So, Susanna's here. So true. Nicole is one of the biggest hearts filled with so much love that I know. And, and that's the message that took. A lot of times people send a message that's never fully received or accepted, but a lot of people integrate this into their new way of thinking and doing, which now you're making people so much stronger. So, that's what makes it worthwhile. Always, oh, Grandpa Don. I appreciate it because Paul thinks of me as a grandpa, not as some old guy who is lucky to be alive.
You think that? You have so much wisdom to offer. Don't think that. And Paul, I did start reading the scrolls. I texted you about it in the DMs. You forget.
Yeah, and what's funny even about the scrolls is me and Paul were talking, and Paul mentions Ogmandino in his book, The Greatest Salesman. And what was funny, I actually got a chance to meet him. So the people are looking back at as the people they look up to. It's so cool when you can remember when they were, where we are or where we want to go. I think I'm only beginning to find my voice sometimes. It takes choir to make you sing. Community and friendship are so important.
Yes.
There is, it doesn't stop. What do you call numbers that are on the move? Roman numbers. Carrie's here all the time. Kelly says, thank you you have been a foundation of support and courage. So grateful for you and everybody on this show. Well, why not be as successful as you can, as fast as you can with the people who can help you get there? So many people have struggled on their own. So many people had to do it all by themselves and against a lot of odds. When all of a sudden you get a tailwind and people say, let's go, come on, I'll take you for a ride. Come on my show. Get comfortable. Because once you get over something that you thought was a big fear, it gives you a little bit more courage to address the next thing. And you might have found that what doesn't pertain anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You're carrying around baggage that had its day and time and now needs to be replaced. And the way to do it is with better groups of people who you enjoy being around. Johanna's going to be on the show. I look for everybody, in the audience and say, hey, there's so many voices. How many opportunities do they have to share their voice? Mike, help the right people. Well, that's it, and that's what learning's about. Learning about yourself first. It always starts with you,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can't sell what you don't buy, and you don't buy what you don't use, right? So what works for you and the stronger you can become for others. And the other thing is, how do you show up? Are you taking the best you wherever you go, to help people, to make yourself accessible, to make people comfortable to reach out to you? That's why I have our conversations with anybody in the audience, because I really do care. What are they getting out of this? What could we be doing better? And, if you're going to be a group, everybody should have a voice in the group to be shared, right? And everybody should be respected and accounted for. Let me see. Lachelle was here, super mom. I was so happy to meet her. It just the stories between one person would be so important. But when you have so many people sharing a story of a story, and we talked about this is, if someone brings up a story of their grandparents, it doesn't take long for everybody to shift their mind to their grandparents, right? Because all of a sudden it's like, well, I remember this and I remember this now. Now, these are memories that you always had, but weren't the first on your mind. And when you can bring back the pleasant times, the beautiful times, what kind of gift is that to change somebody's channel, right? When they came in worried about something, fearing something, they come out laughing about something, that they should have been accounting for. Too many people take inventory of the bad and not the good. So anyways, what do you think, Nicole? We got a tremendous audience here. Everybody's jumping right in. Just wonderful people.
I see, I've probably done a little less than a dozen of these live shows now, and I still can't get used to one eye on you guys and the other eye on the comments. And I just see Johanna out there because I missed her yesterday, and I call her the magicianess with a paintbrush, just as I have names for lots of people because each person really, does have that very unique thing about them, and it's identifying that. And like you say, how do we give everyone an opportunity to share their story, to put their part, to share their voice? And it's through people like you. And I hope that people that experience some sort of exposure and maybe success here on LinkedIn, like myself, and have gotten on these live shows and use their voice for a good reason to advocate for good things, which, in my case, is not just, don't let fear hold you back. You know, don't fear the fire, become the fire. Okay, because when you become the fire, there's nothing to fear. So I think that people like myself, I hope that as things continue along, like you say, somebody starts another show and another show. Because the more shows that are out there, the more people that have an opportunity to share their voice. Because there really are so many people out there compared to the number of shows that are out there. And everybody's story is it's important. And we all need that opportunity to say our piece. I mean, I talk about how proud I was to write this chapter in this book. It's a chapter. It's 40 authors. It's an anthology. It's not just my credit. It's a credit to the other 39 authors in there as well. These are the stories of their lives along with my life. But just think about if every single person I knew on LinkedIn right now that I interacted with decided to write an anthology, how many chapters would that be? Right? And just imagine the value that would come out of that book. My God. So I don't know, Donald. Maybe you want to write on a book with me?
Sure. I'm open to everything and anything to learn and to try, So I say yes so many more times than I say no to people. But to be honest, there's not a lot of outreach. If people would become more proactive and not wait for something to happen, but to make it happen, and
Mm-hmm.
not wait for someone to call them, but to be the first to call.
Yes.
Because the worst you can get is an answer. And the answer, if it's no, just tells you to start thinking about somewhere or somebody else because they've already told you instead of thinking or, too many people overthink and underdo, and it's the doing that you learn the most from, right? It's the experience. Too much in your head, not enough action makes you question things, right? And to me, I always work with a sense of urgency.
Yes, I
You know,
agree.
if not now, when? If not this person, who? If and tomorrow isn't going to be any kinder than today. And if nothing else, you just followed today with something you could have done today that you pushed forward. I mean, a lot of it is taking inventory yourself, asking yourself what's working, what isn't. And here's the beauty of it. This is like a marketplace. You can get some new batteries, right? You can charge things up. You can give yourself a pit stop and get some new tires and fuel and things like that and get in the race. And the people are here who have that for you because most of it, people just want to hear you're okay, we're okay, it's going to be okay. And if people hear that and believe it from people who are sincerely givers and have proven they're givers, so the challenge, the cynicism, the questions have already disappeared. Now it comes back to the responsibility and accountability of the person who now says, you've got what you need. Do you really want to do it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, what's your thoughts on that, Nicole? I mean, you've encountered all kinds of challenges and found ways to overcome and now become a model and a person that people can follow and learn from. So that's just such a tremendous turnaround.
It is. And there's a lot of people that I have to give credit to, that have helped me along the way. And, it's really hard when you are in a struggle and you're not sure what the next step is to take. And there are definitely people, like I say, that come into your life that help you. But there also is that little voice inside of you that you really need to listen to. And you need to be quiet so that voice can talk. And I say this being bipolar, so trust me, I have two voices in my head at any given time. So um, I think when life really hits you really hard between the eyes, and you are at that pivotal point where you could just lay down and give up, and then you know that that's the end, or you have to get up and fight with all your might, you're going to realize you have such a strength inside of you that you didn't know was there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll tap into it. You know, when I broke this knee, I was on top of the world. I had just started a new job. You know, everything was going great. And when I felt sorry for myself. I was like, oh my God, like what has happened here? And, you know, the plates, the screws, the pain, I still can't really walk up or down a step very well. But I chose to fight and I chose to walk again. And I used those 6 weeks that I couldn't walk to do something with my life, which was to write and to put my heart and myself out there.
Mm-hmm.
So give yourself the grace when these moments happen in your life. And don't automatically think the worst, because sometimes the thing that you could think could be the worst situation in your life ends up being the blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And as you say, sometimes it's not about waiting. You know, I've heard people in the hounds describe me as opportunistic. I don't know, you know, like that, depending on the way it's said, could come off the wrong way. But truthfully, yes, opportunities do befall us. But there are times you need to go out there and you need to create those opportunities. If there is something inside of you that you believe needs to get out, it needs to be heard, and you feel that you can help others and they in turn can help more, then knock the door down. Figure out a way to do it. It's like you say, there's too much talk and not enough action. And everything is doable. Everything is doable. You know, if you don't know how to do a podcast, which I don't, I have tons of people I know, like Donald, like Sia. Um, so I could sit here and talk to you till tomorrow. You know that. It's kind of weird being on this side because I'm always on the other side. And I'm one of those people that definitely blows your comments up. But if I had one thing that I could share, I would say this. The day that I learned to stop going AWOL on myself and fighting everyone else's wars is the day that I woke up. And that was not something easy for me to swallow because I'm used to putting others first.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to step back and figure out how to put me first. Because in all the support that I had during the time that I broke my knee, my husband, you know, being everything to me, he was at work. And you're going to find that there are times when you are there facing something, and as many people as are there for you and you know are there for you, there are still going to be moments when you're going to be by yourself. And it's in those moments you really need to dig deep. Those are the moments that are really going to define you.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to stop and look in the mirror and say, no, it's not just what I want people to see of me. When I look into my own eyes, what do I see? And am I happy with what I'm seeing? And if I'm not, how do I fix that?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, at the end of the day, everybody comes home to themselves, no matter where they've been or who they've been with. And how comfortable you are with yourself is usually based on how you judge or view the day you just had,
Mhm.
right? And do you start with the gratitude, the things you have that you take for granted and you should recognize and spend more time with and for? Because no one's in this on their own, even though they might take it on their own. Everybody has people that care about them, that are good fans of theirs, that want to see them do good. You know, could be older relatives or friends who just love to hear when you did something. And you also know how upset they would be if something bad happened to somebody, right? That if they would have only known, you always hear that. If they would have called me, if they would have just said something, I didn't know, you know? Well, I think that's why people shouldn't guess. More people should call more people more often. More people should go back and see how people are doing. If you're too busy with yourself, it's because you got too much of you,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you start taking you to other people, now you get, it's like going to the gym. If you're exhausted, you feel refreshed, right? You feel like, hey, I got to do this on a regular basis. And I think having a show like this and shows like this give people never to be alone, right? The people in your physical world may not be there, but you have 40, 50 people. You could make 50 straight days of conversation by having one Zoom call with each person, and nobody would feel overburdened by it,
Mm-hmm.
right? All you do is have to have purpose and reason and a benefit for the other person to want to help you. And it may not be reciprocal in the same sense, but it could be just someone says, hey, I love what you're saying, and the other thing everybody here has in common is you're here with everybody else at the same time, hoping to do and provide the same thing. So it's a lot easier to already say, hey, I've seen you on the show, love what you say, let's have a call. Everybody is going to say yes.
Yes.
Because if you start with that, you're already connected in more than a LinkedIn connection. Plus, they're going to see you everywhere. And you'll be the person that was coming across like, I want to help people. I want to do this. I want to do that. When I call them, they're too busy for me. Right. So all that, they say trust is so hard to get, but so easy to lose. And once you get it, you got to protect it. You got to support it. You got to fortify it, because that's when things get clear. Got so many comments here. Here's another one. It's interesting of how we are defined. I think it's by the people who you care about, the people you help gives them and you strength. Well, once you get enough people who give you the support, you just work with them. You're not dealing with more people. You're not dealing with other people. You're dealing with the same people, right? I mean, if you got a family dinner and everybody's there, that's enough. You don't ask 10 strangers in and say, let's get this thing bigger. What you do is you get things where let's get this thing deeper, richer, right? Where we get more done faster and we see people launch. And 900 million people, if you do the right thing the right way with the right people, you're going to move forward faster. Those who chose to take challenges as blessings to shape for a better future are what makes them unique, like Nicole. And that's so true. And, if you give yourself more room, if you give yourself more uh, grace, and you say, maybe it'll take me 5 rejections to get to my approval, right? Then you're just counting down. You're not dealing with the first one. You say, I know this is going to take longer, probably cost more, and I'm going to have to be better for it in order for it to happen. You got to be your best fan club. The game is always between you and yourself. You make the rules, you make the judgments, you provide the punishments. Why not reward yourself? Where are the celebrations?
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. Ice says, so wise words. Harvey comes through with Charles, life keeps throwing me stones and I keep finding the diamonds. What a beautiful quote that is. And Charles is so wonderful when it comes to really moving the conversation into an uplifting level. So, another comment, Charles, I was sad because I had no shoes till I met a man who had no feet. I just mentioned that yesterday to someone, Dean. And what it shows you is learning, and everything we're talking about is perspective. If all you do is look up and not down, you can only fall at a certain point. But if you remember where you came from and where you could end up again, if you're not humble, if you're not modest, if you're not grateful,
Right.
And I think that's the thing is once you're where you want to be, have a good time, enjoy it, right? You've arrived, savor it. What's your thoughts? I mean, so many incredible people. It's nice to share a table instead of be looking at or down at an audience. It's so much nicer to be the audience and be a small part of it. Yes, give yourself more breaks and rewards. Charles Caldwell, the real question: how are you not an author or poet? What a gift you have, my friend. Well, Charles is an educator, and I guess an educator can kind of cover all these different specialties. So very, very gratifying, wouldn't you say, Nicole?
Very. And I think Paul's onto something there, Donald. You're gonna have to I don't know. You gotta put the offer on the table now. I think you're gonna have to step up and do a little Donald Cohen anecdotes for us, or the Donald Cohen book of quotes. But Charles said something out there that I really loved, which is when fishermen cannot go to sea, they repair nets.
Mm-hmm.
The devil makes work for idle hands, and it's not all about being productive, where you're banging away on a computer making hundreds of billions of dollars. That's not only what productivity is about. But it is really important that you continue to always keep yourself on some sort of a learning curve, whether it is that, you're reading, or even in your coffee chats, you are sharing, really, you are trading so much with each other. Um, and like my mom always used to tell me, baby steps, just baby steps. All you have to do is get up every day and put one foot in front of the other. And you're going to look up and realize you are where you were going. So you can't look so far ahead that you feel that the destination is unreachable. You have to set yourself little rest stops along the way, and trust that you will get there. And when you do get there, though, make sure that you send a lifeline back and bring everybody else along with you. Because if you could help somebody along their journey to get where they're going a little bit faster, why wouldn't you? What would you have done if somebody had thrown you that lifetime? Be the person to other people that you want other people to be to you. So I don't even know if I answered your question. I just went off into my own tongue.
Well, you came up with well, as good or better answer on your own to maybe a question that wasn't asked or would have been asked. So, if you always think that whatever you're doing will lead to something, you have yet to figure out what it is. And that's the beauty of life, is the mystery, right? Even if you guess and you're right, so what difference does it make, right? Why not let the future come to you? Because I know you're right when it comes to your fears can manifest into your reality, right? You attract your thoughts and feelings, even though they may not be as physical as you think they are. But people see you in different ways, and not just in what you say, right? Sometimes I watch these shows without the sound, and I just watch the facial expressions and the joy and the energy and the emotion, and that's what attracts people. Words without meaning, words without good intention are challenging, right? I mean, if you can't trust a person, you definitely can't trust their words, right? And if you trust a person, the words become a little bit more of them when you incorporate them. And if you just change your thought, just change your direction a little by someone giving you a word, a saying like Charles, an inspiration. And what also happens that's really so valuable and beautiful is people get third party validation that's sincere, right? If 20 people say, I just love what you do and who you are, man,
Mhm.
that's a lot of people that showed up all of a sudden that you never had before, and you would never meet Charles in Hong Kong without this. You
Yep,
know,
that is true. And Kelly, I would not have met a number of people out here actually. And I can't pronounce the name. I'm sorry. Is it Ashwarya?
well, she says, "Call me Ice." So that's.
Oh, so this is Ice. Ice, it's lovely to meet you. And I want to say I am seeing your comments and I really do appreciate them. And just remember when people look at me and they say, "Wow, look at that girl, she's so inspiring." And I bloody came from somewhere. And every time you guys get knocked down and I get knocked down, we got to get the hell back up. And if you see somebody struggling, give them a hand. So I am really no different than everybody else in this audience and everybody else in this world. My story is only special because it's my story, but your stories are all special because they're your stories. And Dean out there asked a question, and I would like to address that. He said, what was the aha moment for me that changed my thinking? And I honestly think that I've had quite a few of those moments in my life. But the most recent one, and the one that really kind of propelled all of this that's happening in my life right now, was um, just getting hurt and losing that ability to walk. It's like I had to stop dead in my tracks. I feel like God stopped me almost. And, you know, losing that ability to walk helped me so much to see my bipolarness as a gift, and actually overcoming, or rather being able to embrace it, live with it, and live my best life with it. I didn't need to walk, and I didn't need to go to work, and I didn't need to drive, and I didn't need to be around people screaming my head off in order to be happy and do something meaningful. I was able to do that with myself. And that was the aha moment. That was the moment that I realized that, you know what, it's okay to love me, and it's okay to put me first. And yeah, that was the aha moment. I think everybody will find theirs as well. And I appreciate you asking me that question.
Well, that's a beautiful question and even a more beautiful answer. Charles comes back with, when a caterpillar bursts from its cocoon and discovers it has wings, it does not sit idly, hoping to one day turn back. It flies. Let's fly. And, you know, it's the little things that go a long way. And I can attest for what Nicole is saying is some of my biggest disappointments and tragedies were a redirection to where I needed to be. And if you're aggressive and a fighter in a good way, you don't like giving up. You always think you can overcome. You think that you'll do this. And after a while, what continues to happen will continue to happen if you continue to do and think the way you have been, right? For things to change, you have to change. You have to be the change, that makes things change. And I think so many people are waiting with their hand out for something that never shows up in the way it needs to, instead of getting up and doing something, moving, changing. If it's just one thing you do that you haven't done that you need to do, that sets the pattern for what's the next thing, and you can reverse activities by adding, subtracting. That's why I always say people are so good with things, right? If you buy clothes that doesn't fit, you don't think twice about bringing them back, right? You would never hold on to them. But if you got people, situations in your life that don't fit, people tend to want to accommodate it, right? And they pay for it. So, it just shows you Nicole's story, and Nicole isn't alone. There's thousands, millions of these stories. And there's even more stories that need to be shared, need to be expressed for the people who hear it. And the other thing about helping people, they're going to be one day remembering who helped them, right? They'll be telling their story,
Mhm.
right? And if it says, hey, I read Nicole's chapter in the book, or I saw her and that changed things for me. And I said, if she could do it, I can do it. How much power is that? But the person then comes back to the person that helped them and now can help that person in some way, right? So actually, it's almost like if you were making money, you'd start depositing in different accounts. And the hope is you never draw on it. That if you gave freely and with high value and never got it back, that's a benefit to you because it just showed you keep building more value and having more wealth. And things can change. I mean, once you get from pushing a snowball up a hill, which seems to take forever, on the way down, you can't stop it, right? And you can see success. And I can attest that I've had so many people come on this show and other shows, never do a LinkedIn Live. And within a few months, they're getting more activity, building better networks, being part of stronger communities. So it's working. And I would advocate everybody start with commenting, and being known, come out of the last seat of the theater next to the exit door and move closer to the stage, and then get on the stage and then own a theater, right? That's true empowerment, and I think that's what everybody can do. And if you can't, this is set up to help you, right? Reach out to Harvey, reach out to Christy, reach out to any of my people, right? They're your people, and your people are everybody's people. And when you stop possessing and start sharing, stop owning, right? And let go. Because the beauty of it, there's so many people coming up. There's so many people have yet to show up. Why not make room for all of them, and build more shows like this? So, anyways, we're getting close to the hour. What's your thoughts about this show today? It's your first one, Nicole.
I had just as much fun up here as I have in the comments, to be honest with you, when I'm there. It's a little bit different when you feel like the spotlight's on you. You feel a responsibility, and that's okay. I did not set out necessarily to inspire people. I set out to meet people and to build relationships and friendships. And I decided to share my story of my accident and my recovery. And along the way, that inspired a number of people. And I do want to say this, though, when you get to a point where you are an inspiration to people and people are telling you this, it's like Donald says, you have to show up. You have a responsibility now, to people. We have a social responsibility to each other to be more intuitive to what's happening with each other, even without them saying words. And that in itself is a skill that you could learn to build upon, just by being, showing more empathy, by listening. And you have the opportunity, you have the honor of being able to make change in someone's life. So don't throw that away. Like my mom would always tell me, God helps those that help themselves. You have to want to do it. If you don't genuinely want to do it, you're not going to stay in the game, like Donald says, for very long. You're going to fall off. If you wake up every single day and you want to eat, sleep, and breathe this, like I want to for writing and advocating for mental illness, you're going to wake up in the morning and that's your first breath. You're going to be like, let's do this. So whatever this is to you, I implore you to get out there and find it. And if you don't know how to go about it, find somebody, talk to anybody. Somebody will get you to where you need to go.
Yeah, I think that's so valuable and profound and insightful because, like Nicole said at the beginning of the show, 1+1. The idea is start pairing up, right? Start with one more person who you compliment or support somehow, and they bring something that maybe isn't your core competency, or just somebody you align with and enjoy spending time with. I mean, everybody giving everybody compliments today, and I believe they're sincere, is an open invitation to them to say, I admire you, I enjoy you, I honor you. And that is an open invitation to say, oh, let's have a Zoom. Why not talk? It's only a call. But it doesn't have to be only a call. It could be the starting point for what are you into? What am I into? What could we do together? Let's get on a show, whatever it is. You get company. And once you get the positive response that maybe you weren't expecting, now it's like, hey, maybe, you ever ask yourself, have I ever made a mistake in my life? And the answer could be, could it ever happen again? Right? And until you ask, you don't know. And until you ask, people don't know what you're into. So you're not helping them in that sense. And, the other thing I love about these shows and doing them every day, meeting somebody or two people every day and hearing their stories, I get to take a little bit of Nicole with me now, wherever I go, right? And could say, what would Nicole think? Or how would she do? Or what did she say?
Want a piece of my hair? I have a lot of it.
But it's the same thing with all these people, Paul, Mike, Raquel. I mean, they all have personalities. They're all sharing it. And you could try stuff on that they're using. You know, every one of my quotes and sayings came from someone else. And in a sense, in essence, they're living on through me because I keep repeating them to others, even if they don't know the name or the person or the situation I learned it from. And this is like a marketplace where everybody can bring things and go through stuff and pick up what works for them. Today, it could have been a connection. It could have been a thought. It could have been just, I'm going to do it. This is, you know, I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And, you know, if I can't trust myself to do things, maybe I'll do what other people are doing and become them for a day, because anything you do yesterday, you can do tomorrow. So why not try a new today that may give you a new tomorrow, you know?
That is tomorrow.
Oh, and to Nicole's point, I'm sure if somebody would have said, let's show you 2 years from where you are now, or 5 years from where you are, right? And all of a sudden, look at this person, you know, that you're on your way to, you know? I mean, and a lot of people can do that for people now. Is I see stuff in you you don't see. I value stuff you take for granted. You should give yourself credit. And you know, some people, all they need is another day,
Yeah.
right? Before you do something, sleep on it, right? And see how you feel. But more importantly, call me and tell me, right? Because if you're there with anybody, whatever it is you're going through, especially someone who cares and looks out for you, is invaluable, right? When people say, how do I monetize this? How do you monetize beautiful family and support, you know? Because that in itself is the reward. Now go out and do something with it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Use them as booster rockets to get you into orbit, and then do what you need to do. So I can't thank you enough today.
Thank you.
You know, you've been just a wonderful co-host. And again, there was no script. You know, when we met, it was like, we're just
I
going to
never
do.
script, not in any of my shows. Even if they give me questions, I'm sorry, but guys, I don't really look at them either. There's
Well,
no other way to be me other than to just get on here and be me.
yeah, and you know, you want to be in the now to respond to the now, not have something that's scripted and advanced and stuff like that. And it encourages anybody to say, well, hell, I don't got to prepare. I don't got to practice. I don't got to be a Shakespearean actor or actress. I just got to be me, right? And be happy, you know, being me. So with that, I want to wish everybody a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for making the investment today. Your time, I know, is precious. And that's why I'm always, along with our co-hosts, so involved in trying to give you value and motivation. And rest up, come back in 23 hours. We'll have Sarah Dawkins here, who's just unbelievable. And the whole week is just jam-packed with great people. So again, thank you so much, Nicole. Thank you, audience. And with that said, we'll talk again. Bye for now.